Great. You'll send the link when you get it, right? Hi, good morning to our members of the media, um, all the viewing and listening audience. Thanks for coming. We at the Tobago Division of Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce decided that we need to let the population of Trinidad and Tobago knows what happened over the carnival period. It was important that we do something of this nature. When we see a headline of like this carnival meltdown in Tobago, it's totally untruth. So we definitely have to rebut this statement. So we asked the Guardian to do something about this. No way this ever happened on Ireland. So throughout this interview, you will hear all the facts, and you be the listening audience, be the judge of it. And with me, I have my assistant chairman, Mr. Demi Cookson, and he will assist us with some of the figures and some of the areas that we want to speak about. So first of all, I just want to say we want to accept the passing of our dear, beloved permanent member of the chamber, Mr. Carlos Dillon. He passed away, and we just want to say the condolences to his family and friends on behalf of the Tobago Division of the Chamber, the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Commerce. From our figures going forward, we have a couple of things we want to share with the media in terms of the inter-island transport, the security aspect of it, hospitality and tourism, and trade. And we're going to kick off with security. There were no major reports of incident directly resulted from the carnival facility on the island. We must applaud the TTPS for the increase in strength throughout the period. Both the Defense Force and the TTPS, the Joint Command Center, we must say TIMA did a very good job. We must applaud TIMA on that. The medical post, the TRHA and the THA, again, it was just great. Really phenomenal. Again, only one situation we find that could have been addressed is the rerouting of the traffic along the secondary road. Some of the visitors don't know the area, and they wanted some kind of a direction as to the rerouting of the traffic. So we're hoping that next year that Mr. Hazel and his team, ACP Hazel and his team, could look at that. But they did a really good job, and I just want to say applaud to the TTPS. I will going to jump straight into the trade. We have some of our suppliers indicating to us that it was one of the better time they had in terms of sales coming out from the drinks, the wholesalers, the bars, the supermarkets, the promoters. The numbers, some was over 500% different from last year, which when we held the first carnival. And I know we will definitely learn as we go forward. It's not an easy task. And so these kind of headlines is not good for us. And we ask the Guardian to take that down. Definitely, no way we will accept it. So my assistant, Mr. Cookson, will go into some deep numbers so that you have an idea what the numbers were throughout the period.
Good morning, everybody. We looked at the numbers in terms of the inter-island transportation between Trinidad and Tobago. And I must say, we must give kudos to the Port Authority. The Port Authority did exceptionally well in terms of what they did in moving people between the islands. We did not hear at any point in time that you had a backlog on the ports, both Trinidad and people returning from the carnival. And I think that is historic in terms of this carnival and even on the island in a whole. Because in the past, we would have had problems, bacchanal, people saying that they missed their fare, their sailings. That did not happen, and I want to say kudos to the chairman of the Port Authority. We did meet the Wednesday before the carnival in Trinidad, and the whole Port Authority management indicated that it would be smooth sailing, and they have lived up to their words. Cal, we saw the additional flights. A lot of flights was put on for the weekend with Cal. The THA obviously would have been a bit disgruntled because the flights came on late. But anyhow, people did not have a problem traveling between the islands with Cal, and Cal moved the people that they promised us that they will move. So between Cal and the Port Authority, I want to say kudos to them. It was an exceptionally well put together weekend. The visitors that came to the island, both foreign and local, meaning Trinidadians, they all indicated to us that they had an excellent time here in Tobago. And when we look at what the port did, the port indicated to us, and this is as of the 31st of October, from the 25th of October to the 31st of October, the port moved 17,410 passengers, and they would have moved a total of 5,405 vehicles throughout the weekend. And I must say kudos to the chairman and his Mr. Lyle Alexander and his team. They really and truly did a wonderful job. We're still yet to get the figures from Cal in terms of what they would have moved people between the island, but I think on the ground reports indicated that things went exceptionally well. Going into the transportation part, the reports from all the taxi operators, the car rental, everybody was at 100% totally booked. You could not have gotten a rent car on the island. You had all the villas, all the hotels, the hotel industry. We spoke to the hotel association. They indicated that they were close to 100% occupancy across the board. So again, that augurs well for the carnival. And one hotelier said yesterday to us, October is normally the slow period. So the carnival was a welcome in terms of they getting to get their hotels full, because this is a slow period. So in all, this is just the second carnival. I know we would have had some hiccups, and I hope that as we go forward in 2024, 2025, 2026, that things will improve and only can get better, right? We're going to look at the statistics coming out of what happened in terms of retail, and the chairman will give you the statistics in terms of what happened with trade and what the banks told us. It was just a remarkable weekend. And from the business point of view, we could not have asked for better than what we had over this weekend. So, Mr. Chair.
At a couple of locations, for a couple of the entertainment spots, they indicated that they did over 500% in sales better than last year, the first hosting of the carnival. So we definitely see there's something in an upward trend going forward in terms of sales. Even at the largest supermarket, he indicated over 200% better than last year. So I have to say kudos to the Division of Tourism for their action and their timely intervention. I must also indicate that traveling throughout the period, I noticed there were folks gathering data. And this is so important for the Tobago Carnival Committee, that the THA had folks gathering data on our carnival so that they could improve the product going forward. And I must say that was applaudable. I mean, this data sheet that they had, and when you see some of the questions you were asking, then you know we really mean business in Tobago. So the Secretary for Tourism and your Assistant Secretary, you're on the right path. Because if you gather data like this, you're on the real part of getting Tobago to where we ought to be. And we don't want the product to be Trinidad and Tobago Carnival. We want a separate product. We want a product with the Tobago-ness inside of it. All right? So hence the reason why we must gather our data, and that data will speak to what we want in Tobago. And if you see this data sheet, this questionnaire that they ask all the guests traveling between the island throughout that entire week, you know Tobago is really poised to have a great and significant carnival in the years coming forward. We have any closing comments from Mr. Cruikshank?
We have. Right. I want to touch basically on what happened in terms of the hoteliers did indicated that was a bumper season. We have not heard any negative reports from any of the guests that came to the island. We would like to call on the private sector going forward as early as January. We want to see constructions of villas, guest houses, because if we're going to increase the arrival on the island, we have to have additional room stock. We may not be able to construct a large hotel within this space of time, but certainly this is an opportunity for entrepreneurs in the Tobago space to at least do some villas, because we looked at the villa market was one of the first market that was filled up very quickly. So if we can have some entrepreneurs looking at constructing villas, apartment building, guest houses in early 2024 to cater for the October Carnival. And we got the date from the secretary very, very early today that the October 2024 Carnival is from the 25th of October to the 27th. So as of today, we know the date for the other carnival. What we are hoping is that we can have the launch of the carnival hopefully by as early as April next year. The reason for this is that we want to attract a lot of international guests. And when we spoke to the hoteliers did indicate that they want at least a good 6 months lead up to getting the advertisements out there. So people, especially one hotelier indicated the US market, Atlanta, Miami, and Canada, if they can get the launch as early as Easter, those visitors can start planning their holidays for the October Carnival early. There is no reason why we have to wait until Cal put out flights to say that we are going to start advertising launching Carnival. So we are asking the Assembly to make the necessary preparation to do the launch of Carnival at least right after the Easter, because we will know what fete could be on what night. We know the Voice is gonna be on the Carnival Friday night. We know the Jade Monkey breakfast party is gonna be on the Saturday morning. So we already know the prominent fetes that gonna take place will be on what night. So we can start to at least generate the calendar of events, and the small promoters they did the thing. We went to Tequila Sunrise. That was one of our chamber members who did that, and we participated and supported that. So we want to see those events being on the calendar very early, so we can start to participate and patronize in those things. Coming back to the Guardian, I have spoken, and me and the chair has spoken to a number of Tobagonians, prominent Tobagonians, and people on the street, and we are calling on the Guardian as of today to do a front page rebuttal of the story that they did, because it is not in keeping with what happened on the island. It is not correct. It was not the overall sentiment as to what happened on the island. Business was exceptionally well for the business community, and we cannot sit by and just allow something like that to go. The same way the Guardian did a front page story, and we are calling on the editors and the managers of the Guardian to do a front page rebuttal. And when you get things right, you say it's right. But when you get things wrong, you can't come out and say sorry to Tobago, because the entire population of Tobago is literally upset in the headline of the Guardian on Monday. So we are calling as the prominent business community in Tobago, because all our members are totally upset with a headline like that. And I heard the band leaders came out, and Mr. Sandy also said that it was wrong. The Secretary of Tourism said it was wrong, and we are saying it is wrong. They did not get their facts correct, even though one person would have said it. they should have at least spread across the island to get the different views of the wider Tobago population or the participants of the carnival. So that is what we're gonna look forward to. We look forward to a bumper 2024, and we're calling on the private sector again to start to look at construction. The banks actually have to jump in here to give the funding. The credit unions have to start giving the funding so we can start to look at construction of villas, guest houses, apartment buildings. That is the trend that we see the visitors and the masqueraders supporting. We got reports that Charlottesville and Speyside actually had a very good turnout. We spoke to a couple of business people in the Speyside and Charlottesville area, and they were amazed that a lot of people came there over the weekend. People in Bucco also indicated that Bucco had a lot of people on the beach, Torbay, Pigeon Point. So we did our checks. We verified that that was so, and I can report officially that the entire island had a booming traffic from the Tobago Carnival. And this is what we have asked for years. This is what this chamber has asked for years, to have events like this, to bring people to the island. And now we have it. We are not going to give it up. We're going to make good to our word, and we will support the Tobago House of Assembly, whoever is in office, to make sure the Tobago Carnival is going to be bigger and better and crime-free in 2024 and beyond. So again, I want to thank you and hand you back to the chair.
Okay, in my closing remarks, I just want to indicate that we call on the Secretary of Tourism and the other stakeholders, the promoters, the band leaders. Let's meet as early as possible so that we could have our feedback session and we could plan a calendar of events for the year. Because we don't want to just use 1 month or 1 week for activities. We want to plan for the entire year. And that calendar now could be distributed towards all the stakeholders throughout the industry. And hence the reason we were able to see that continuous going forward of business throughout the island. The vendors, the small vendors, trust me, all those small vendors, they had a great time. All of them indicated to me that the sales was booming. They had the best that they ever had since they opened their business. All the small people. I'm not talking about the big ones. The big ones, we know they will make money. But the small ones, those who come out and ply the trade at the side of the road, they were excited and they did extremely well. And that's what we want to build here in Tobago for the small business folks and them. So we want to say thanks again to all the media. We may have some questions, so we just will open the floor to a few questions before we close.
So would you say? So would you say that finally Tobago has a product in terms of the October Carnival that this can bolster the tourism industry?
That's correct. We really want to see, with these surveys being done and gathering the data that could make that product better and better each year. It's the second year, and we're definitely on the right track. We're definitely on the right track, Liz.
What do you think about it that made it such a positive experience, especially for the business sector, so that you guys are now speaking in an optimistic language about Tobago's future?
Well, what we see now is the figures and the carnival, the events were down. The people who ran these events were Tobagonians, you know, right? We had the assistance of the Trinidad folks came in to assist us in between, but the main people in these running all these events were Tobagonians. So we see the pops and moms and all the vendors, they are the ones that we see that really doing some good numbers, and we are happy about that, definitely.
And were you guys involved in the stakeholder consultations in that prior to Tobago Carnival, along with the mass leaders and so on?
We met with a couple of them, even with the security aspect of it. We met with the ACP to speak about certain aspects of crime, and that's why we can say the ACP Hazel did a tremendous job. I know the Pan-Tobago folks was a little disappointed in the police not coming out on time. On that day I was in Scarborough, they said time. I was wondering what was happening to myself, but I think the ACP will deal with that, so I think you guys can go and see him and get that information on him, because I was there in Scarborough as well, and I was wondering what was really happening as well too.
We at TV6, we did an interview with him the day after, so he cleared the air on that. And he also also apologized to Tobago.
Right, because that was a football, as you can see. The cars were actually running into the pants.
Yes.
So it really, really was terrible. But other than that, the ACP did a great job. The interagency task force, I mean, I saw police all over the place. But it was good. It was really good. The army came out and they did a really, 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 really wonderful job. Must say that.
Masqueraders, because it was like a sight to behold coming along.
My God.
What was going through your mind?
I was on Wilson Road there and I was like, no. I really didn't know what was going on here. I was moved by that. This remind me of our Peter Avenue when you see the bands coming down and I'm like, what? That is Tobago? I couldn't believe it. I really, really couldn't believe it. And the Juve, I think it was the best.
Yes.
Who decided to move the carnival to Scarborough did a great, really good initiative because Scarborough gave them the room for the band to really display themselves. And I want to say kudos to the committee that put that together. All right, and it was really, really good. Really, really, really good. Yeah.
And even people who even moving the carnival to Tobago, to Scarborough, you had the spin-off. Jade Monkey, Crown Point was packed every night. As soon as the Juve was ended in Scarborough, people head to Crown Point. They head to the beaches. The tour operators, we spoke to Frankie Tours. Frankie said it was one of the best times he ever had in terms of business. There was a little mix-up with the police, but in terms of all the reef tour operators, the jet ski people complain. And to answer a question, Candice, why the chamber is so excited? Because the entire population of Tobago made money. And that is our main concern. That is what the chamber needs to see the assembly going in the direction of the economy. We have had the economy depressed for the last 2 years, and we have to see some sort of positive growth going forward. And if the Tobago Carnival could be a significant event in the calendar in Tobago, that means we can brand the Tobago Carnival as one of our tourism main products coming out of the division of tourism. So we want the tourism division to understand the product that they have. They obviously would need the private sector assistance and help because they can't do it on their own. And we are willing. We're going to call the Secretary for Tourism as soon as of next week to have a meeting with her to sit down and work out all the logistics of this management team for the chamber wants to see the economy of Tobago not dependent on the Tobago House of Assembly anymore. And anything to make revenue and bring revenue on the island, we will support the THA or whoever. Because just now we're going to invite, on another note, invite the Minister for Trade to come to Tobago sometime within this month to meet on the 17th. She's going to come with Exim Bank. She's going to come with Export TT. She's going to come with all of the things. We invited her to come to Tobago. So let us start to talk about exporting and manufacturing on the island. We seriously have to, the business community is saying in our meetings, we have to look at diversifying and move away from the dependence of the THA. And this management team is listening to that. And that is why we are so excited about the October Carnival. And we're going to be excited about Easter. And we're going to be excited about all the other events, the Blue Food. And we have other plans that we're going to share with the Secretary. And we are hoping that we're going to move the economy forward in a positive way.
Chief Secretary recently stated that because he wants to shift some of the work from the THA to the private sector, he's going to be meeting with some of you all to see how we could develop the entrepreneurial spirit a bit more and goes to the private sector. Have you had any of those conversations yet? Has he reached out to you to see how are we going to be developing the private sector so that we can have a stronger workforce here?
Candice, I'm waiting for that meeting. If it could be this evening, I'm there. I'm there if it could be this evening. Candice, these are the things we're looking forward to. With the Chief Secretary meeting with the business community and chatting the way forward. We're excited for that meeting. And again, if that meeting could be this afternoon, I'm ready. My team is ready. We are ready for it. We're really, really ready for it.
What do you think that the private sector needs to do to develop in such a way that it becomes, it can hire hire more of the Tobago labor force than the THA?
All we need is the enabling environment. Everybody needs to be on board. The THA need to be on board. The banks need to be on board. Once the enabling environment is there, then the private sector can go with it. But we need the enabling environment. We can't do this thing without the things, the necessary things in place. I mean, when we want development, we definitely need the approval from X and Y, and we need that to be happening. We need the banks to be there with us because we definitely have to borrow in some cases, and we need the bank to support us going forward. We don't need a negative bank. We need a financial sector that is positive, that can move forward going.
There was a line in Crown Point a particular night, and after I decided to do a drive-by, and that was the most people I have ever seen in Crown Point lining.
That's
just
true.
standing up by the various Jade Monkey, etc. What's your view on that?
That's great, and it was well managed. I must applaud the Crown Point station. I don't know what they did, but they did a tremendous job coming out of that Pigeon Point event. I remember they had the police there brutalizing. I mean, they didn't want anyone to get out onto the highway to cause any accident. So what they do, they brutalize everyone coming out of Pigeon Point. That was a great initiative so that the island keeps safe. Yeah, and that was really, really good. We're looking forward to events like that, and we asked the business in Crown Point area to do something about your business, spook it up a little bit to be prepared for the visitors, all right? Even the offering, and make sure the offering is there, and let us keep crime free and safe as we move forward.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank the Tobago Bank?
10 and increasing. Yep, 10 and increasing. We did a great job with what we had.
Following up on a question that was asked prior in terms of meeting with the Chief Secretary, would you all say since him taking office, you all have had, and of course you all being on this board, in terms of your communication with him, has it been sufficient? Has it been regular, you would say, or you think that there's still need for closer collaboration with the chamber on the part of the Chief Secretary and his administration?
Yeah, we had an initial meeting with him, and we asked for follow-up meetings with the various secretaries, because the chief doesn't run everything. So we need to meet with the various secretaries, and we were waiting on some of those meetings. We met with the Secretary of Tourism. We were looking forward to the Secretary of Works, and we were looking forward to some of the other secretaries to meet with them so that we could flesh out all the little challenges that we may have as a business community. And it's not only the members of the chamber. We speak on behalf of the entire island. All the business. I'm talking from the small hairdresser down to the big guy who's selling under, the big ones. But we speaking on behalf of everyone here, even non-members and all. They call us all the time. Some of them can't join because things is a little rough, but we still take all their remarks and all their feedback, and we represent them as we're going forward. We're hoping one day they will become members and help the organization grow.
Interestingly, you all speak so highly of how the economic factor or element of the carnival and saying it was well. But yesterday, we had a press briefing at the Progressive Democratic Patriots office. And interestingly, the leader is saying that there was no economic benefit to Tobago. The market vendors suffered, the taxi drivers suffered, the churchgoers suffered, and he said even school children suffered. What would you all say to that statement?
Well, he needs to get the figures. And if he got the figures, then he would never even say something like that. He would be joining us probably on the side here, saying, yes, the THA did well, and they will continue doing well. He just needs to get the figures. That's all he needs. Just get the figures. Go ask the vendors, ask the business community like what we did, and then he will be able to know better. That's all we will tell.
Would you tell Gypsy the same thing?
Gypsy, I don't know what went on there, but what I realize is that there's some kind of a breakdown in communication between two entities, and I wish that the National Carnival Commission and the THA could sit and have proper dialogue. I know the THA invited them over, and I wish they could continue having dialogue throughout the year. Don't wait until last minute. Continue throughout the year. And that would solve all the issues that I have. Again, we want the product to be Tobago-centric. We don't want a Trinidad Carnival here in Tobago. We want a Tobago-branded product, right? With elements we could use from experience in terms of the logistics, because NGC have a good logistics and other supporting factors in terms of learning from them, but we want the product to be Tobago product. And we brand it Tobago product.
We were happy to see one of the bands, and as the chairman said, at Tobago product, we saw one of the bands teaching the visitors the brushback. And I saw that on Facebook, and I was like, wow. So I think Marlon Calendar, the guy who was the MC, was teaching them the brushback and the style of the old time wedding. things like that is what we would like to incorporate in the carnival. You have a massive group going down the road, like what Fog Angel and Jade Monkey brought out in terms of the numbers. And somebody on a chop could say, listen, we're going to do the brushback going down from Bishops to Wilson Road traffic light. And to depict that of the Tobago old time wedding and the Tobago carnival, that will give us the feeling that yes, you are in Tobago. So again, it's only 2 years old. Trinidad Carnival is 100 years old by now. So it's gonna develop. And with the private sector's involvement, obviously we're gonna push the THA in a certain direction and say this is what we would like to see coming out of the event. So don't worry, you're in the Tobago Carnival should be in good hands with us in the chamber, the chair and myself and the management team. We will ensure that the Tobago House of Assembly listens, and we will ask the bankers and the private sector people to come on board. Because when the banks see the figures that is coming up, because we spoke to a couple of the bank managers, and every morning they had to replenish the ATMs because they were just running out of money. And if we can get that every weekend or every other weekend in Tobago, you could imagine what the economy will be like in Tobago. So again, kudos, and we look forward to 2024.
Staying on the banking sector, slide back then. So is it that the bankers are saying that this could be something that could help bring businesses out of the, stability to the business sector, because we know that the business sector has been crying out for some time. So is this something that the bankers would at least be more lenient to some of the businesses in Tobago?
I spoke personally to two bank managers yesterday, because whole day we were calling around to get the information and get the data from people. And one of the bank managers said, listen, start to forget about the THA and the THA business. Let us start to push the private sector, and hence that is why we're going to support the Tobago Carnival. We're bringing the Minister of Trade to Tobago on the 17th of this month. We're going to look at how the private sector is going to change how they operate in Tobago, and we're going to give our members and non-members some key pointers as to how we're going to push the private sector. And yes, some of the major banks on the island is indicating that, listen, let people come and start applying for loans in terms of the guest houses, the villas, the bed and breakfast type arrangement. Because they are now seeing the figures. Remember, they will see the raw figures that people would have taken out of the ATM. They would have seen people coming and do trade the lead up to the carnival. So they're seeing the figures, and they are now encouraged by saying, listen, come and take loans, come sit down with our loan officers, let us see how we can prepare the entrepreneurs, because you would have to have more cars, car rental. You have to have more jet skis. You have to have probably one or two more reef boats. You have to have restaurants, because we spoke to the restaurant people and they said, listen, we had to only take people with reservations. We could not have taken walk off the street. So let us see how that goes. We have a bumper cruise ship season coming up just now. So we have to get the bank, and the banks are saying we are willing to work with you. All the bank managers in Tobago are members of this chamber. So they are here on every meeting. They are hearing the plight of the members, and they're thinking, because they are now getting a first-hand appreciation as to how the business community. We've been in a slump for the last 2 years, and we have to get out of that. The economy have to get out of that.
These figures that Mr. Williams showed from the tourism division, is it that you provided this to all members of the banks?
Yes, and we're actually all members of the chamber. As long as you're a member of the chamber, you will have the first-hand information. So again, join the chamber. We are having a lot of members coming in. Join the chamber. You will have first-hand information as to how the economy is going. We have the data, the CSO data, we have the THA data, and we are sharing that with our members. But for you to get the goodies of the chamber, call 639-2669 and join the chamber today.
Thank you. I just want to say thanks again to all the media present, and going forward, we are open and we welcome all your feedback going forward. And thanks again for being here.
Is it that you sent a letter to the Minister of Trade?
Yes, that letter was to
She has confirmed.
She has confirmed.
She has
that
confirmed that the meeting is on the 17th.
That's confirmed.
That has been confirmed.
And on that meeting, we call in all the manufacturers, all the light manufacturers, the pepper sauce people, the Beneball people, all these people who are even not members of the chamber, come out, because if you're looking for funding, if you're looking to take your product out of Tobago, we are here to assist you in that process. Even those who want US, we are here to assist you. We're calling upon you. Come. Exim Bank will be here as well, so you can get all the US you want to get your product out of the island and export it. So please come out to that meeting at the chamber office. All right? So we will be here. So all those light manufacturers.
Don't just show up on the day. Call 639-2669 and make your reservation, because we can only take a limited amount of people.
That's correct.
The chamber members in first, and then we'll take the other thing, because since we put it in the out there for the chamber, mostly all the members will be attending that meeting.
I know those small, all the manufacturers, I know there's a lot of pepper sauce people, the Beneball people, the Frutch people, and all those confectionaries. Please come out to that meeting, and it will show you the part of moving that product from just only the Tobago market, but you're going to the international market with your product. All right. Thank you, and take care.
First on the RFP, I know the minister said it was supposed to go to the end of last month.
But I think we will give you some feedback on it, because they did close off on it. So I think you should see something coming up soon. All right? But we'll give you some feedback on that one. All right. Thanks again. All right. Bye-bye.